You're welcome back to Afia TV's conversation segment right here on Afia TV. Of course, 2027 is already almost here, and of course, we're talking politics already. And of course, the People's Democratic Party and the Obidient movement have faulted the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, for dismissing the possibility of former Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi running for president in 2027 on the PDP platform. Though yet to be officially confirmed, recent media reports claim that Obi and the former President Goodluck Jonathan have been in talks with opposition leaders about rejoining the PDP to challenge President Tinubu in the 2027 elections. In his reaction, Wike warned against such proposals, insisting that presenting Jonathan or Peter Obi as the PDP's candidate could create problems for the party. And speaking during his monthly media parley in Abuja on Monday, the minister also mocked the PDP's decision to zone its 2027 presidential tickets to the south while keeping the party's chairmanship in the north. So joining me now to talk about this is Dr. Chikezi Obasi, and he's the Secretary Guild of Public Affairs Analysts in Enugu. Good evening, Doctor, and welcome to the show.
Good evening, Amazing Grace, and good evening, our viewers.
Okay, so what can we say is the problem here with Minister Wike? Because earlier, when they didn't zone this to the south, he went haywire, and now it's been zoned to the south, and he says it's too late. What can you think is his problem?
This is politics that Wike is playing in the first instance. So he's looking at, he says politics is who gets what, when, and how. So I think Wike is looking at it from the perspective that, of course, what does he stand to get in 2027, or his followers, or those who are supporting him? So I think that is one. But if we begin to analyze what he's saying or what he said, would you say that really is out of context? In the first instance, if Peter Obi joins PDP and PDP gives him ticket, the question one will be asking is that a reward for diligent membership? Or he's just, a person that will come over to take over the tickets, upon which many people have suffered, or, on the suffering of people. Would you say that PDP had rewarded him very well? The fact that he's a good candidate is good enough. But the big question is, would the party, not get unsettled by giving it ticket? Remember, there are people in that party that have actually labored over the years. Have stayed through the thick and thin of the party. Without the storm, where somebody will begin to ask, those people will be so comfortable, working with him, to win the election. The answer is a very big question, and then Wike's own understanding, it might be difficult because that's going to unsettle a lot of members of the party. We wouldn't show that one is being rewarded for diligence, which you know clearly that Wike had actually been. Wike is like Abun behind, with PDP since 2015 when they left power. Secondly, one has to understand clearly that the giving a ticket to the south in PDP becomes the only candidate that has the opportunity of being pedal to take one tenure to complete the tenure of President Jonathan and President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is former President Goodluck Jonathan. Apart from him, it's called that no other person can come up to say that he can only go, one tenure. And by the way, if you give Peter Obi the ticket, you see what RFI said clearly that their campaign toga or what they're trying to work people by saying they're going to go only 4 years. It's not going to work. That nobody believes them. So I think Wike is coming from that background.
Why isn't it going to work?
Giving him tickets.
Why isn't it going to work? Because already, if President Tinubu does 4 years, 8 years is the agreement. I think that's the gentleman's agreement, the 8 years for the north and 8 years for the south. Anyone that comes in should abide by that agreement, which is doing 4 years. So why does El Rufai think it's not going to work? Now, here's the trap, I think. If anyone comes in and does more than 4 years and does 8 years, it kind of leaves a loophole for the North, at some time to say, well, this has been miscalculated over time. So if they're saying that they're going to be doing just 4 years, I think they're correct. And maybe we watch out to see how they're able to achieve that.
Once beaten is twice shy. It would be stupid of anybody in Nigeria haven't experienced what transpired between 2011 and 2015 with the election of the former President Jonathan, to say that any politician in Nigeria today will tell you that he was going to do only 4 years and you believe him. It is idiocy, It is moronic for any politician to think in that direction. So even saying it out is like an insult to a very diligent politician who actually understands history. You might have that at the back of your mind, but asking anybody to wait, until the person plays out the game that they've just played out a decade ago, the person will tell you that, is it not the student of history? And everybody, if you have a constitutional right to go for 2 tenures, nobody will stop you. A gentleman agreement is a gentleman agreement, which is not justiciable. I cannot be used in impeding a person's human right to contest second tenure. So that cannot fly. It's part of the thing that you could craft between people, but you can't say it out. Nobody on that basis will give it to you. People can only think of a person who is legitimately, has a legal right to go 8 years. That's the only person people will think of to go 4 years. And for now, which has some, issues, people know that Jonathan had done the first 4 years, but I saw some recent posts from, learned gentlemen. I saw Chidodin Kalo and I saw Francis Kiamo, saying that there's a stumbling block with Jonathan going back to contest the election. It may be a difficult, tight corner. So I think it's based on those that Wike is trying to say that those people may not likely be the best of the tickets for PDP. And then if you really look at it, if you want to preserve the peace of Nigeria, the best Nigeria has is to complete 8 years and then move up to the north for not to complete our 8 years so that you can preserve the unity. Remember, that was the problem we had in 2015, and that was the problem PDP had in 2023. And if you want to repeat such mistakes, it won't work. The truth of the matter remains that the best we have is that a Southerner should complete only 4 years. If that Southerner is Bola Ahmed Tinubu, which I'm pretty sure Wike will be routing for, because Wike has said over and over that he's supporting Bola Ahmed Tinubu for the next election, or any other person that is legitimately and legally only entitled for only 4 years. Those are the people I think the Northern elites may support for 2027, outside of Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
So you think that former President Jonathan is a very sellable candidate at this point? Going by your conclusion.
He's a sellable candidate. If you tell me, I don't think if you bring former President Jonathan to go against Bola Ahmed Tinubu today, I must tell you it will be an uphill task for Jonathan to win him. Very, very serious uphill task. Election is not all about. Election is not all about how you feel. This was a man who was outside the box. He was outside the government, plotted and upstaged a sitting president under Jonathan, and then now he's inside as a president, controlling every paraphernalia of government. And you think it's an easy thing to remove him? It might be a very serious uphill task. But he is a sellable candidate. But I must tell you, and I think I've I read what Francis Kiamo and Adinka wrote. If he picks the ticket, it's possible that Supreme Court or a court might be used in disqualifying him. And like I said, all is fair in the game of politics. That's what I would just simply let me anchor it at that point.
Well, we keep our eyes on 2027. There are many people speculating. Festus Keyamo is coming, of course, from the APC angle, and they want to always put an obstacle there to the Jonathan candidature. And a lot of people have said, well, he's eligible to contest, but we'll see how that plays out in 2027. Thank you so much for joining in tonight and for your time.
Thank you very much, and good night.
And just before we go, here's a recap of the top stories. Ibagwa Nike celebrates New Yam Festival, inducts new royal family members. President Tinubu assures Colombia of swift implementation of all bilateral agreements. Also, the Nigerian government sets up committee to address foreign missions debt. And on the region, Congo's ex-justice minister convicted of embezzlement in construction projects. That's all we have for you tonight on Afia TV News, streaming live from Enugu, Nigeria. Do follow us on all our social media platforms at Afia TV Official. And on behalf of the entire production team, I am Amazing Grace Ajayi. Thank you so much for watching, and good night.